Dr. Tracy Page, and welcome to Health Made Easy, where we discuss topics focused on hormonal health, weight loss, and wellness. Yes, you heard me. I want to make being healthier easier. Don't get me wrong, we all have to do the work, myself included, but let's make being healthy less complicated. I'll provide clear, simple, and actionable steps that you can implement into your daily life. Really, who doesn't want to feel better? If you're ready to increase your energy, optimize your well-being, and restore your health, then listen up. I love helping my patients and listeners optimize their health and clear away the brain fog, shed the excess weight, improve their mood, and really change the way they age. I am a triple board certified physician, and I created Health Made Easy just for you. Let's get started on today's topic. Hi, welcome to episode number 10. Today I want to talk to you about HIIT training and strength training. These are two fundamental components of health. And I just happened to finish my HIIT training workout. I didn't do strength training today. And so I thought this would be a great time to talk about both and talk about how they can benefit you in ways you can't even imagine. So most of you probably know what HIIT training is. It stands for high intensity interval training. And it's exercise that's arranged in short bursts of very hard work. So the whole point of high intensity training is to really kick up the intensity. And it's different than going out for your typical run because you really want to bring the intensity up so high that you cannot sustain it. So in order for it to really qualify as a true HIIT workout, you need to push yourself to that max during every set. And every set is going to last anywhere from 20 to 90 seconds. So you can see it's much different than maybe going out for a 3-mile run where you do a steady state. You want to really push yourself between that 20 and 90 seconds, and then you come back down and you either have to rest or walk, and I'll give you some examples. But I will tell you that the research shows that working your hardest is key when it comes to boosting your endurance, increasing your metabolism, regulating your insulin levels, and yes, losing body fat. Now, HIIT routines involve either body weight, so like you can think push-ups or squats, or you can use added weights like kettlebells or dumbbells, and both will tone your muscles and they both will spark your heart rate. Some of us use just body weight, some of us use weights, or you can do a combination. So again, the concept is higher intensity means higher oxygen intake with greater calorie burn. So HIIT will actually help you burn more calories both during your workout, but this is the key. You burn calories after your workout. So it's due to what's called EPOC, EPOC. So it's post-exercise oxygen consumption. So your body is going to work harder after your workout to burn more calories when you work at such a high intensity. Studies show that HIIT workouts that leave you out of breath can raise your metabolic rate to the point where you continue to burn calories even after your session ends. And it can be as high as 15% more calories than you normally would burn or even more. So for it to be truly effective, though, you must take breaks in between your high intensity intervals and so you can perform at 80+%. So let me give you some examples and tell you how you can get started. So a good place to start for beginners, if you're a beginner, is to do what's called a 1-to-2 ratio of work to rest. So 1 minute of work, 2 minutes of rest. That's a great way to think about it. And some of my patients, I actually start them on a 1-to-3 ratio or a 1-to-4 ratio. It depends on their fitness level. So basically, you will go all out on a chosen activity. So we can use running, for example. You could run for 30, 60, or 90 seconds, and then you would rest twice as long before you start your next set. Okay. So as you get better, eventually you can do like a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you run for 30 seconds, you rest for 30 seconds. But right now, let's think about the 1-to-2 ratio. So for example, if I'm doing running intervals, which I love to do, so running intervals, I'll give you an example and I'll tell you what I do. So you could run for a minute and then you would walk for 2 minutes. Okay. And then that minute that you're running, you want to push yourself and go at your highest pace, getting your heart rate up to over 80-85% of your heart rate max. So for me, I'm going to try to get mine, above 150. I think my 80% starts at like 145, but I usually try to get mine up to 160, 165, even 170, because I want to get it over my 85% max heart rate. And then I would walk or rest for 1 to 2 minutes. And actually it'd be 2 minutes if you're doing the 1-to-2 ratio. Now, right now I'm at a point where I can actually do my 2 minutes at high intensity, and then I'll do a 1 minute walk. So I've gotten to my point where now it's flipped. I can do a longer high intensity and then a shorter rest period. And that comes with time. I didn't start out there. I started out with the 1 to 3 minutes. Actually, I can actually, now that I think about it, I can think back. This might make me cry, but I can think back when I was a heavy child and I first wanted to start exercising. And I remember going outside and I had these favorite gray kind of running pants. And I remember going outside and I was trying to run and I was heavy. And I don't know about you, but it's hard to run when you're heavy. I mean, carrying all that weight. And I remember I tripped and I fell and I put a big hole in my running pants. And when you trip and fall, you feel like everybody in the world saw you and probably nobody saw me, but I just felt so embarrassed. And, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what it's going to be like. And it just felt so uphill. And when I think back about that time, I didn't know who I was gonna become and who I am now and what I do now, and I love so much helping people get healthy, but it really helps me understand that it doesn't matter where you're starting, it's gonna be hard, and all I can tell you is it gets better, and you get better, and you become stronger, and there's gonna be a lot of falling down. My husband always tells me, "Fail forward fast," and I think that's a book he read, but it's true. You just wanna fail forward, starting a new business, I had to fail forward a lot of times. I've made a lot of mistakes and same thing with fitness, let me just tell you, it's okay to fail. And so I don't wanna get off on a tangent, but that was my first experience with running. I'll never forget it. But today now I can run 2-minute high intensity and then 1-minute rest. Okay. So another one I like to do is body weight. So you could do jump squats. So you want to work hard for 40 to 60 seconds and then rest for 40 to 60 seconds. If you're doing a 1-to-1 or if you're doing a 1-to-2, if you work for 60 seconds and you want to rest for 120 seconds or 2 minutes. But remember, always start with a 1-to-2 ratio if you're a beginner. If you're more advanced, you could do a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay. Now, typical HIIT sessions last only for 20 to 45 minutes. So they're really great if you're pressed for time. And that's when I like to do them. So on my busy times during the week, and I say, okay, I have 30 minutes, I'll do like a 5-minute warm up. I'll do interval sprints, get my heart rate up really high, do some walking in between, and then be done within 30 minutes. I feel amazing. And I've got my HIIT session in. And I really encourage to do HIIT sessions only twice a week because they are pretty strenuous on the body if you're doing them correctly. Okay. Now, the importance that if you push yourself, you get great cardiovascular fitness, you improve your body composition, but that is not all you need to do. You need to fall in love with weights. And I do say it seriously. We all need to fall in love with lifting weights because muscle is money. And muscle is what we call your metabolic currency to being healthy. Now, I know a lot of you ladies out there who are listening, if I have some men listeners, they typically like to lift weights in the gym, but I see so many women who spend a ton of time doing cardio and very little time doing weights. And I used to be one of those people. I used to love cardio, 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 cardio. But I will tell you, when you want to change your body, how it looks, your muscle tone, your metabolism, I mean, the list goes on and on. So I'm actually going to share with you, it's more than just your muscle tone and metabolism. It's your brain. It's how you burn fat. It's your GI system. It's your insulin, your pancreas. It's your liver. It's your bone. It's your blood vessels. It's even your immune system. That's how much muscle has an impact on everything. And I posted something called Muscle is the Endocrine Gland You Never Knew You Had. And it's so true. And I don't even know that I really realized this until I started studying cellular medicine and realizing how much muscle plays a role in how healthy we are and how everything else in our body functions. So I do say over and over again, muscle is your metabolic currency to being healthy. So think about how you save money for retirement. If you don't have enough money saved, it will make going into old age even harder and more difficult to address your daily needs. And that's what muscle does. It addresses our daily needs. We all need to exercise, but muscle is important for brain health, lung health. It helps you maintain your cardiovascular fitness and prevents disease. I mean, it goes really deep, a lot deeper than most of us realize. So it can actually change the way you age. And, that's a big one for me. I'm always talking about how you age and how you have so much control over that more than you realize. So I was looking at a picture and it said, how many years do you gain based on how much you exercise? And they just looked at walking. So if you walked 74 minutes, you gained 1.8 years. And this is how much brisk walking you did, I think it was per week. If you did 150 to 299 minutes, you gained 3.4 years of extra life. And if you walked over 450 minutes, you gained 4.5 years. Now, I just talked to you about HIIT training, and I will just a little side note, I am a big fan of walking, especially after dinner. It's great for helping insulin levels and for your muscles to take up that food that you just put into your body. And so on the days that you're not doing HIIT training, walking is a great way, and you can combine that with lifting weights. So let's talk a little bit more about muscle and why I think it's so important. So muscle equals myokines, and that's how it's an endocrine organ. So myokines, or think of those as small peptides. There are like over 100 different myokines that we have in our body that's been identified. There's probably even more that we don't even know about. But there are these little peptides, and these small peptides are proteins that are secreted by the muscle cells when the muscle contracts. So you have to use the muscle in order for it to contract. Think of them as like signaling cells. They're telling other cells what to do, and they communicate with other parts of our body, which is why they affect our fat cells, our bone cells, our liver cells. They affect our pancreatic cells, our heart cells, our brain cells, and even our immune cells. And with all this talk about viruses, we're all very aware of our immune system right now. And so adding muscle to your body is a great way to help support your immune system. So we typically think organs when we think of heart, liver, pancreas. We don't think of muscle as an organ, but it is an organ. Our heart pumps our blood throughout our body, our liver detoxifies, our pancreas produces insulin, and our muscle is an endocrine organ. So it does produce these myokines that affect every part of our body. So you exercise, and all of these myokines go to different cells and they signal them, and then they produce good effects. Plus, they block and limit pro inflammatory cytokines. So, cytokines that are not good for you, which cause all kinds of diseases. So, this is why it's so important. And there's a great picture, and I'll see if I can put it in the show notes, that shows how muscle affects so many different things. So when I talk about it, so when we contract the muscle and we produce these myokines, we increase glucose uptake, which makes us more efficient in our metabolism. Our liver increases hepatic glucose production during exercise. Our pancreas produces more insulin during exercise, which helps move that glucose into the cell, which makes our cells more efficient so we don't become insulin resistant. We also improve how our skin ages when we exercise. We improve an increase in what's called GLP-1, which is a wonderful peptide that helps with our gastrointestinal tract. We also increase lipolysis, which is burning of fat. We increase the number of macrophages. And so macrophages, they decrease what's TNF, which is tumor necrosis factor, which is not a good immune cell. It increases IL-10, increases IL-1, which are good. It increases neutrophils, which help us kill off things. It also helps decrease lymphocytes, so our immune cells are upregulated. In the brain, this is what I love about exercise. In the brain, it increases hippocampal neurogenesis, which what that means is it increases our memory and our concentration, and it increases BDNF. And you've heard me talk about this before, this brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which helps us remember, it helps our brain work well. And also exercise decreases appetite in the brain, which is very interesting, which is why after a high HIIT workout, sometimes you're not really hungry. It promotes endothelial function and revascularization. And all that means is it makes our blood vessels work better. It shunts blood to all the areas of our body. And exercise with more muscle formation helps with bone formation. Do you want to know how you can increase your fruits and vegetables without even trying? I can't wait to share with you one of my favorite finds called Daily Harvest. And I'm going to tell you how you can receive $25 off your first box and free shipping. Now, everything they make is built on organic fruits and vegetables and crafted into delicious food that is actually good for you. And as a functional medicine physician, I know that food is medicine, which is why I love Daily Harvest. We're all busy, and it's an easy way to get in your fruits and vegetables, and the food actually tastes great. Now, they have soups, they have harvest bowls, smoothies, flatbreads, and even ice cream. Yes, you heard me. They have ice cream made of wholesome ingredients, and the ice cream is actually dairy and gluten-free. for those of you who have dietary restrictions. So check it out, Daily Harvest, to increase your fruits and vegetables without even trying. And go to the show notes, click the link, and you can receive $25 off your first box and free shipping. They couldn't make it easier. Go there, try it, see if you like it. You can cancel at any time. $25 off your first box and free shipping for all your fruits and vegetables that taste absolutely delicious. Check out Daily Harvest. So all of these things that I just talked about are all because of muscle, not just exercise, but muscle. So it's so important. I mean, it affects every cell almost in your body. And this is interesting. When you stop exercising or you become sedentary, you lose muscle. And then every organ is affected in a negative way. So you lose bone, your liver doesn't detoxify, your brain stops producing BDNF. I mean, it goes on and on. So all those benefits I just told you about all go away when you stop exercising and you stop producing muscle and creating muscle. So we also start to add more fat, and then our fat cells, they start to produce adipokines, which are pro-inflammatory. So that's when we start getting type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancer, osteoporosis. I mean, the list goes on. So I want you to think the next time you don't think you have time to lift weights and you'd rather choose the treadmill over the barbell, I want to encourage you to think twice. Think about lifting weights, even if you just did it twice a week for 30 minutes. That's 1 hour a week. You have 1 hour a week. It's 4% of a day. I mean, come on, 4%. So, and you don't have to be a bodybuilder type. You just need to get in there and lift some dumbbells. And there are so many great benefits. I'm just going to tell you 10 ways muscle helps improve your health. So let's go through those. The first thing it does is it lowers abdominal fat. So there was a study in 2014 that was published in the research journal Obesity. It was a Harvard researchers that followed 10,500 patients over the course of 12 years, and they found that strength training is more effective at preventing an increase in abdominal fat than cardiovascular exercise. So again, strength training is more effective at preventing abdominal fat than cardiovascular exercise. So when you think about your abdomen and you want to lose fat around your abdomen, yes, you do need to do some cardiovascular exercise, but you got to add in some strength training because it's even more effective. Those who create muscle and lift weights have better cardiovascular health. So strength training also directly impacts your heart health and function. So again, I like to look at the research. In 2013, there was a research article done in the Journal of Applied Physiology that demonstrates that young men who regularly strength train had better functioning HDL or good cholesterol compared to those who never lifted weights. So that study did look at men, but it doesn't mean it doesn't translate to women and that you can improve your cholesterol profile just by lifting weights. The third thing that muscle helps improve is your blood sugar levels. So I've already talked to you about how insulin and GLP-1. So there was another study done on type 2 diabetics who were considering resistance training. And this study was published in the Journal of Biomed Research International. And it showed that the addition to building muscle, strength training also improves the muscle's ability to take in glucose and use glucose, which helps control your blood sugar. So this is why I always say it's so important to walk after a meal, because then the uptake of glucose out of the blood into the cells improves so much better, and it improves in the muscle cells because you're using those muscles. So you can control your blood sugar just by lifting weights and also too by taking a walk. Another way that muscle helps you is it reduces cancer risk. So when you decrease that visceral fat, so that's fat that's around your organs, from strength training, you can decrease that, and therefore your cancer risk goes down. So we know that visceral fat produces high levels of cancer-triggering proteins called FGF2, which stands for fibroblast growth factor 2. So if we can strength train, we decrease our visceral fat, we decrease these cancer-triggering proteins. So it's another way that you can be healthier. Now, I have a few more. Strength training improves flexibility and mobility, which is kind of was a surprising one for me because I think of yoga and so forth as improving my flexibility and mobility. But it's really the eccentric part of strength training exercises that provide the biggest benefit. So you improve your hamstring flexibility twice as well as static stretching. So think about eccentric exercises when they emphasize the muscle lengthening rather than shortening. So I've been talking to you about muscle contraction to build muscle, but think about a bicep curl. So when you curl the dumbbell up towards you, that's the contraction part. But then when you lower it down, that's the eccentric part. And that is going to help increase flexibility and mobility. So go slow. When I work out with a trainer, I only train once a week just to kind of keep myself fresh and to remind myself to make sure strength training is a part of my regimen, give me new ideas to do. He's always telling me, slow down that part where you're coming down because we so much want to rush it. But that's where you also are improving your flexibility and your mobility. Now, strength training lowers your risk of injury. And how it does that is strength training increases the number and diameter of collagen fibrils in the tendons. So that therefore increases the strength and helps prevent injury. Also, you have good muscle base, which improves your coordination, your movement, your balance. So all kinds of goes together. So those collagen fibrils, we want those to improve our tendon strength. And tendon attaches muscle to bone, which is so important. Strength training also helps prevent osteoporosis. Now, this is a big one for my ladies who are menopausal or postmenopausal because so often you are dealing with osteopenia, which is low bone mass, or osteoporosis. So remember, if you have more muscle, you have improved bone health. Remember, we talked about that earlier. And this is because you improve bone mineral density. So when the muscle pulls on the bone, it stimulates the cells within the bone to produce structural proteins and minerals that help improve the bone density. So, we always tell, or I always tell my patients who are menopausal, you need to be doing some type of strength training to help improve the density of your bones. Now, strength training also improves brain health. And, I love BDNF. I talk about it all the time. But there was a study done in 2016 in the Journal of American Geriatrics and this is a really interesting study. So they looked at men and women ages 55 through 86. And these patients had mild cognitive impairment. And what they did is they performed twice weekly weight training for 6 months. And what they found is they significantly improved their scores on cognitive tests. When other participants spent their workouts stretching or doing some cardiovascular exercise, their cognitive test scores declined. Now, they didn't separate out cardiovascular exercise from stretching. So, because I do know cardiovascular exercise does increase BDNF. So I'd like to see what that really showed between the stretching and the cardiovascular exercise. But what's interesting is that they did perform twice weekly weight workouts and they significantly improved their cognitive test scores. So that's pretty interesting. Exercise, especially when we have to do things that require coordination, we increase those neural pathways. And I've talked about those before on my podcast on habits and how we have to make neural pathways that improve our brain function and improve our habits. And so that occurs when patients strength train. And then there's two more. So strength training improves brain chemicals. So lifting weights increases the levels of those soothing brain chemical neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. Now, I don't know about you, but I just finished my workout and I feel amazing. Like I always said when I was younger, when I first started exercising, I used to say, if I could bottle this feeling and sell it, I would be an amazing wealthy woman. Because it feels so good to exercise. And I will tell you, I am just like everyone else. I will wake up or during the day when it's time for me to exercise, and I will try to talk myself out of it. But I always tell myself, I always feel good afterwards. I never feel bad after exercising. So that's always what makes me do it, is because I know I'm going to feel better afterwards. And we have research that shows that it increases serotonin, dopamine, norepi. Those are all neurotransmitters that make us feel amazing. The final thing I want to tell you about lifting weights and strength training is that I always say you can change the way you age. And it's true. It increases longevity. So there was a study done in 2010. The study was out of the University of California, San Francisco. And the researchers found that stressed out women who exercised vigorously for an average of 45 minutes over a 3-day period had cells that showed fewer signs of aging compared to women who were stressed and inactive. So if you're going to be stressed, you might as well be active because at least you can change your cells and they'll have fewer signs of aging. And I always say this, I'm in my 50s and I feel better now. And I think I look better now in my 50s than I did in my 30s when I wasn't making exercise, sleep, and nutrition a priority. Now, I always felt I was healthy, but I don't think I really, zoned in on the sleep, so to speak. And I did a lot of the cardiovascular exercise for hours and hours, thinking I could beat myself into, a smaller size. But now in my 50s, I've learned to train smarter, train less. So incorporate lifting weights along with some high intensity training. And then, I talk about sleep. I have a whole podcast on the importance of sleep and then also stress management. All of those things I think have cultivated into a time in my life where I'm healthier and I'm changing the way I age. And I shared this information with you because I want that for you. I want you to change the way you age. I want you to feel amazing in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, and I hope in my 60s and 70s. Like, this is the time. My husband and I always call it our back nine. So if you're a golfer, the back nine or the back 9 holes of 18-hole golf course. And I want your back nine to be amazing. And if you're in your front nine, I want you to feel fabulous too. So after my HIIT workout, I just wanted to share this information with you. HIIT training is amazing. It's a wonderful way to get a workout in quickly, efficiently, and to get a post-workout burn that's going to serve you long after you finish sweating. And then also to the importance of muscle. So many of us are afraid to get in the gym and to really lift weights, but it does change your body composition. It affects so many different parts of your health. All those myokines go to so many cells. And yeah, and then I just gave you 10 things that lifting weights can do to improve your health. So lower your abdominal fat, better cardiovascular health, control blood sugar, reduce your cancer risk, improve your flexibility and mobility, lower your risk of injury, prevent osteoporosis, improve your brain health, improve your brain chemicals, and live longer and change the way you age. So give those muscles a try, lift some weights, 30 minutes twice a week. Throw in 2 days of HIIT training. You got 4 days of working out and you're golden. And then walk when you want to walk, and especially after dinner. I hope this information helps. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to help my patients. And if you're not my patient, clients out there who need some guidance and help, I'm happy to give you some information. Take care, get in your workouts, take care of yourself, and have a great week. This is an important reminder. The podcast is for educational purposes only and is not a diagnosis or a prescription for care. Please consult with your healthcare practitioner before moving forward with any of the therapies or treatments discussed in today's podcast. If today's topic resonated with you and you want more information, please check out our website, wisconsinfunctionalmed.com. All one word, wisconsinfunctionalmed.com. Also, for those of you who want further assistance with weight loss, consider our online weight loss program called The Pause, which can be found under Services. We really focus on helping you reach your weight loss goals. We provide a supportive and interactive and engaging environment, which is led by me, Dr. Tracy Page, so you can get all the help you need. Remember, you can change the way you age, and I'm here to help.